Intelligence in the animal kingdom often takes surprising forms, but perhaps nowhere is it more astonishing, and at times hilarious, than in the world of chimpanzees. Known for their social complexity, dexterity, and ingenious problem-solving, chimps have long captivated scientists and animal lovers alike with their antics. Today, let's unravel one particularly remarkable incident where the tables are turned and the clever chimp outsmarts the experienced zookeeper. It's a regular morning at the primate enclosure. The sun creeps through the trees, scattering shadows on the ground as the zoo buzzes to life. Visitors begin to filter in, their excitement palpable, but behind the scenes, the caretakers are already hard at work. The zookeeper on duty today is experienced, someone who knows not to underestimate these remarkable animals. For every feeding time or enclosure cleaning, there's a well-practiced routine, a choreography honed by necessity. After all, chimps aren't just strong and agile, they're sharp, ever-watching, and always ready to seize an opportunity. Inside the enclosure, our star, a young but unusually perceptive chimp named Kofi, sat quietly, seeming absorbed in grooming. However, appearances can be deceiving. Kofi's sharp eyes tracked every movement of the zookeeper as they approached with the breakfast trolley. The cart was locked, the gates were double-latched, and enrichment toys were carefully placed to keep the chimps occupied while hay was refilled and water bowls changed. Everything ran like clockwork, at least on the surface. But that day, something was different. As the keeper entered, Kofi calmly wandered toward the far end of the enclosure, picking up a stray twig on his way. Chimps are well known for their tool use, but it was rare to see such calm, calculating intent. He nonchalantly poked at the dirt, digging out a small piece of fruit that had been hidden the day before, evoking little notice, just another resourceful chimp being inquisitive. Meanwhile, the zookeeper had his hands full. The primary enclosure door had a sophisticated latch system, but the keepers always made sure the secondary gate, leading to a holding area, remained secure. Focused on his task, he walked past the section where Kofi had wandered off, unaware that he was being studied just as closely as he was watching the chimps. After several minutes, the zookeeper finished restocking the food and began backing out, checking that his keys were safely clipped to his belt as always. But that's when Kofi made his move. In a flash, he darted toward the door, dragging his stick with him. Using the tool, he slipped it expertly through the wire mesh and nudged the latch, a maneuver he'd clearly practiced in secret. The lock clicked just enough for the clever chimp to slide the gate a fraction open. In the span of a heartbeat, he had shoved his hand through, grabbed the zookeeper's dropped glove, and pulled it back into the enclosure. The keeper, startled, turned and found Kofi holding the glove triumphantly, eyes twinkling with satisfaction. Gonzo, one of the elder chimps, clapped his hands in amusement, while the others chattered excitedly. For Kofi, it was a minor victory, a demonstration that despite human precautions, chimp intelligence remains a force to be reckoned with. Stories like these are more than just amusing anecdotes. They reveal the remarkable mental agility and resourcefulness found within our closest animal relatives. Chimpanzees possess many traits that echo our own, often blurring the line that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. Their acts of cleverness go far beyond random chance. In fact, scientific studies have shown that chimps are capable of planning several steps ahead, using tools not just to obtain food, but to manipulate their environment and, at times, the humans that share it. But why are chimps so adept at outsmarting us? The answer lies in both their biology and their upbringing within highly social groups. Like humans, chimpanzees learn by observation, imitation, and experimentation. From a young age, chimps watch their elders and peers, picking up subtle cues about the world around them. They quickly become experts in reading intentions, anticipating routines, and exploiting weaknesses, traits that in the wild help them secure food or navigate the intricate social hierarchies of their troop. In captivity, these same abilities make them formidable puzzle solvers and occasionally mischievous escape artists. Zookeepers are well aware of this. Many devise elaborate enrichment programs just to keep their charges mentally stimulated, everything from complex lockboxes to multi-part puzzles. But it's a perpetual race, because as soon as keepers devise a new challenge, the chimps are already thinking of ways to crack it. Some chimps will even collaborate, distracting a keeper while another seizes an opportunity. Their ability to communicate, coordinate, and remember past events rivals that of many other species. It's not uncommon for a chimp to remember a specific keeper's habits, recognize the sound of individual key rings, or even notice when one staff member leaves a gate more loosely latched than another. Incidents where chimps outsmart keepers may seem humorous, but they also serve as critical reminders about the responsibilities of human caretakers. Technology and security measures must constantly evolve, but so too must respect for the animal's intelligence and agency. When a chimp like Kofi deftly outmaneuvers an experienced keeper, it signals not just mischief, but the urgent need for continued enrichment and engagement. At the same time, these acts strike a chord with anyone who has ever felt underestimated. Watching a chimp triumph through wit and perseverance reminds us that intelligence takes many forms, not just the ability to speak or solve mathematical puzzles, but also in creativity, foresight, and adaptability. Kofi's story challenges us to rethink the boundaries of animal intelligence, and in doing so, perhaps to look a bit more humbly at our own. So, the next time you stroll by a primate enclosure or witness footage of a chimp deploying a wild strategy, remember, you're not just watching an animal, but an innovator, one whose mind is far brighter and more resourceful than we sometimes realize. In their cleverness, their playfulness, and their surprising ingenuity, chimps like Kofi remind us that brilliance knows no bounds, and that sometimes the cleverest creature in the room isn't always the one with the keys.